All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. It is Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. Welcome to our Avid audio community plugin, wherever in the world you might be. We are very happy to have you all here. Um, it is the holiday season, so whatever you might have been celebrating, are celebrating, or about to celebrate, we wish you a very happy holidays. So, from Diwali, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, winter solstice, Kwanzaa, you name it. There's a lot of things to celebrate. We've got a lot to be thankful for. We here at Avid are very thankful to all of you for joining us. My name is Greg Chin. I'm the audio evangelist for Avid, based here in Miami, Florida. We've been doing these audio community plugins now for the last few months. Obviously, we find ourselves in very interesting times, so we wanted to make sure we stay engaged and have a way to talk to everyone. We've got a really special session today, and I am so excited. I'm so very inspired by our guests. I'm going to let Ed Gray come on in a second to introduce our very special guest. Ed is one of our guests as well. We're going to be talking about accessibility in audio today. So before we get into it, I wanted to make sure we do a little bit of housekeeping. We tend to do that at the top of these. So let me go ahead and just make sure. So wherever in the world you are, again, thank you for joining us. Whatever platform you're joining us on, thank you for joining us. You might be here directly in Zoom. You might be joining us from our Facebook Avid platform, or the Pro Tools Facebook site, LinkedIn, whatever it might be. Again, welcome. We've got a section at the end. We'll do some Q&A. I'll tell you exactly how you can ask your questions. So for those of you here on the Zoom webinar, just to make sure you get the best out of the webinar, you might want to make sure that you have gallery view enabled. Actually, today it's not going to be too much of an issue. We've actually got a couple of speakers that are going to be speaking individually, so you can actually have it on speaker view. But typically, we tend to have that in gallery view. More important, we want to make sure that you're hiding non-video participants. Obviously, we've got a fairly full room, so there are going to be a lot of folks here. And if your Zoom's not set up correctly, you might have too much stuff on your screen. So you might want to just go ahead and directly to the right of your mute button, there are these three little dots. You can click that and then select hide non-video participants, so that the only folks you're going to see on screen are going to be the folks that are on camera. So to be able to submit your questions, again, here in our Zoom section platform, we've got a Q&A button right at the bottom of your menu bar. You can actually ask questions throughout the session here. We will have a section specifically for Q&A at about quarter till. We'll do about 15 minutes of Q&A. If you want to ask anything, get us your name, your info, and what your question is. We'll make sure that we ask either Jason or Ed and address that. Now, for those of you who are not on Zoom, you might, again, be on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You can actually, we've got moderators across the globe, so I want to say thank you to our amazing audio pre-sales team for monitoring all of those social platforms. You can ask questions there as well. They'll be sending them over to me in a specific separate chat, and I'll do my best to get them in, and I'll do my very best to get as many questions of your questions answered as possible. So with that in mind, I'd like to now turn it over to Mr. Ed Gray, who is our Director of Partnering Programs here at Avid. He's also a very big champion for what we do in our accessibility work here at Avid. Ed is an amazing mentor, just a really inspiring and great guy in general, and a huge Devo fan, if you didn't already know, and I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you. But Ed, I think I'm going to turn this over to you, and you can actually make proper introductions. If you want to turn your camera and your mic on, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hold on a second.
We hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My gosh, I got this bizarro Zoom message, and everything went black at the worst possible moment. But it looks
naturally back. Well, you're here now. Let me go ahead and stop sharing. Well, I'll leave my screen up for a second, and again, the floor is yours, Ed.
Okay. Thanks, Craig. And what I loved during the intro on hold music, I think Jason's voiceover was playing, and it sounded like one of my old Kraftwerk albums. So I don't know if anyone heard that.
That was pretty beautiful.
That was pretty cool. So my name is Ed Gray. A couple of weeks ago, I celebrated my 25th anniversary at Avid, and I'm Director of Partnering Programs for Avid. So I manage the third-party programs, plug-in programs, and Yukon and other programs for audio. I've been doing it for a long time, and sometime along the way, in around 2010, I lost my eyesight, and rather precipitously, not gradually, and became obviously interested in operating my Pro Tools system without being able to see it. And so we have worked with volunteers. We've kind of discovered our own ways to make Pro Tools accessible through special programming tricks. But we really kind of came into our own in 2015, 2016, and kind of programmatically drove accessibility into Pro Tools to the point that at the end of 2016, we won a national award. We won the American Foundation for the Blind Access Award, and now it's safe to say that there are people making records on Pro Tools without sighted assistance, working on big Pro Tools HDX systems and soon on Pro Tools Carbon, and using accessibility features to make their music in Pro Tools. And how do we do that? How do we make these improvements? We do it like we do everything else. We get input from customers and try to listen to customers and try to cultivate a field of people that are very conscious of what's going on in Pro Tools and have a good sense for what should be real world improvements. And we prioritize those fixes, and we kind of get them into the queue along with all the other stuff we're working on with Pro Tools. And we do that with a team of beta testers who are very, very special. There are not many of them, but the ones we have for the most part are dedicated to this because they want to use Pro Tools for their own careers and their own music making. And so we have beta testers for visually impaired beta testers for Pro Tools that kind of hang out for a while, give some input, and they take off, and that's no problem. And there are people that stay the course, and then there's people that really look at Pro Tools broadly and recommend improvements and work with our employees and co-present with us. And then there are people that go to the highest possible level, and they're evangelizing accessibility in Pro Tools and in other audio products, so that we can bring a lot of people with different challenges to the music creation policy. And Jason Dasent is such a person. You know, he's from Trinidad, which is an inherently cool place to be, and has worked with us for many years as a key inputter and authority on how we can improve Pro Tools for blind users. Jason is a completely blind user, and he's also decided to move with his beautiful wife Sarah to London, where they're spreading the word and working with our partners at Focusrite and Native Instruments and other companies to help them drive accessibility into their products. Now I'm going to pass it over to Jason. You'll see that he works as in a way that's as facile as any sighted mixer or editor I've ever encountered. And he's wonderful to work with. And
Perfect.
And so if you want to if you want to know why these accessibilities improvements are happening in Pro Tools and why they hit the mark and hit the sweet spot of what people need, you can thank Jason and people like him. And so we're really fortunate to have him in our corner and as our friend. And I just want to thank and introduce Jason Dasent.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason. Everybody calls me Jay, and I'm here in my studio in Fulham, in London here. And what an introduction. Can I live up to this for the next 45 minutes? Let's hope so. Anyway, first of all, I want to say thanks to Avid, for really leading the way in terms of accessibility. I mean, if I just spend a minute talking about, my experience, basically, I switched to Pro Tools about 8 years ago, in the early days when accessibility was just introduced. And it has really changed my life in so many ways. I mean, I've recorded in studios around the world, and, once I was able to use Pro Tools, I mean, I could walk into any studio because, I mean, as we know, it's the industry leader in industry standard software, so I realized by learning Pro Tools, it made me a lot more marketable as a producer and engineer. So I remember going into the studio and when people didn't really speak English too well, and there was this man from New Delhi, and all he can tell me is Pro Tools, right? So I mean, just to tell you that, it's being able to have access to Pro Tools really opens up the world to me and to other visually impaired users. And as Ed was saying, we have a few other companies that are joining in the accessibility development, joining us on this road to full accessibility. And, companies like Focusrite, Native Instruments, Antares. I know Mark from Antares is here with us, as well as Dan from Focusrite. We have people from all the companies who support accessibility. Also, Arturia has joined the accessibility movement. Arturia, and yeah, as I kind of go through the studio, I'll be able to talk a bit more about these things. So let me tell you a little bit about the studio now. So the main thing now is that I use a lot of mainstream software. I use VoiceOver as my platform. VoiceOver is the screen reading software that ships with Mac computers. So I'm on Mac and I use VoiceOver to run Pro Tools as well as all the other third-party plugins that I use. And so maybe let's talk a little bit about the hardware. So I have keyboards from Native Instruments, Arturia. I have some stuff from Focusrite as well, and I have this really special device here. I want to show if you can see it, but this is the Control One. Okay, this is the Control One, and it's a really, really special MIDI controller. And what's cool about it, you drive it using a joystick and stuff. It's very cool. My Pro Tools is unmuted until I share the screen. But it's a really nice controller, and I'm proud to say that I work for the company that make this controller, a company called Digits Music, Digits, and I know they are on Sai, Owen, I know you guys hanging out with us. So yeah, so this is what I use. I also use like Native Instruments Machine, and my latest toy, and I probably shouldn't call it a toy, but my latest thing that I really love a lot is the Avid S1 control surface, which has really made my life easy in a lot of ways. I mean, as a visually impaired person, things like moving on the timeline and stuff could be a little challenging, and we can do it with the accessibility features of Pro Tools. But these soft keys at the bottom of the S1, I've been able to configure them to do things like nudge clips back and forth, which you've probably seen in a little while, and move along the timeline, and it just makes things, the only word I could use to describe it is cool, right? So without further ado, let me share my screen with you, and here we go.
Select a window or an application.
Okay.
Sharing screen list. Share computer sound. Tick. Check. Sharing screen list in desktop 1. Share entire screen.
Zoom.us. System dialog.
Okay.
Mute button.
So you're going to hear another voice beside Ed and me today, and this is VoiceOver actually. And what's going on with VoiceOver? It basically is going to read everything that you see in Pro Tools to me. So for those of you who have never had any experience with like how a visually impaired person would work, VoiceOver reads everything to us. So as you navigate buttons and pop-up menus and move sliders and all that cool stuff, VoiceOver will talk to me. So it's kind of like me seeing the screen with my ears, actually, basically. So let me switch over to Pro Tools now.
Pro Tools. Edit. Digit Christmas message. Win.
Okay, so I'm in Pro Tools now, and I have a jingle loaded up, right? And this is something I'm doing for our company Digits. Now the amazing thing is actually my bosses are online on this webinar now, and they've never heard this. So hopefully I'll have a job tomorrow, right? so we're in Pro Tools now. So I'm actually going to play.
Window.
This.
Close button.
I'm going to play this jingle for you from start to finish, and then we'll do some stuff with it. So let's say I thought it's better if I show you a work in progress, so you can get an idea of how I work and how I would do things that sighted people would do. So let me just run the jingle for you. Okay, here we go.
Happy holidays. It's been a challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead for all of us. From Digit to you, Digit.
Okay, so excuse the mix. As I say, it's work in progress. I hope to finish it sometime later this week. But let's do something cool. Let's maybe do some editing on the timeline, because a lot of people ask, how do you work on the timeline? How do you move around clips and nudge things and stuff? So yeah, so let's do this. So I'm on the S1 now, and I'm going to select the second track, which is Sarah's voiceover.
Go back to the beginning so you can see the whole song. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. So I should have Sarah's voice selected right now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I did that on the S1, right? So let me go. So let's tighten up this voice a little bit. I realize it kind of stretches over into the sung vocal and stuff. So let me just tighten it up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight to the voiceover here.
It's been a challenging year.
I'm gonna solo it on the S1. Solo track.
It's been a challenging year.
Okay.
Holidays. It's
Oh, sorry, my bad. Let's go.
holidays.
Let me just unsolo everything. So of course I can, I'm doing everything with the keyboard, right? Because obviously I'm not going to be able to use a mouse and stuff. So doing everything on the keyboard here.
Unsoloed all tracks.
And you see, I get that prompt that tells me that I unsoloed all tracks, right? So just like a sighted person would look at the screen and say, okay, I just turned off solo there. I can pretty much do the same thing here. So Sarah should be selected. Voiceover.
Yes.
Right.
It's been a challenging year, but
So first thing I want to do is let's just kind of clean up the top of it a little bit.
it's
So I'm gonna nudge. I'm just gonna nudge forward a little bit.
it's been a
Okay, so I'm gonna nudge it.
it's been a
Okay, so I'm just gonna delete everything from the beginning of the jingle to that point. Okay, so I can take a look at the top, make sure I'm at the top.
Bar 1, beat 1. Start.
Okay, so it's telling me where it is, right? So let's go to,
Bar 6, beat 4, tick 680.
and then if I do this, I can just hear where the selection starts.
it's been a
I'm just gonna nudge it over a little bit, clean up a little bit more of that.
it's been a
Okay, I'm chopping off the word "it's" now, so go back a little bit.
it's been a
Going back,
it's been a
yeah, that, a little bit more maybe.
it's been
Okay, good. So I have that selected now. Let's delete here, and yeah, I should start that on now.
It's been a challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead for all of us.
Okay, that's the end of it for all of us, right? So I'm just gonna check the end.
Lie ahead for all of us.
Okay, so I'm just select to the end of jingle, delete. Okay.
The fresh possibilities that lie ahead for all of us.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. Cool. So I think we should be looking good there now. So let me just consolidate the clip there.
Consolidate clip.
Okay, good. So now that we have that consolidated, I think what I want to do is tighten it up because it kind of stretches into the sung vocal. Yeah, so let's do this.
Holidays. It's been a
Okay, so I'll go right here.
it's been a
Yeah, select it. I'll cut it,
Cut.
right? And maybe just I'll go back a little bit.
happy holidays.
Maybe right here.
Paste.
It's been a happy holiday. It's been a
Still a little late.
Undo paste.
happy holiday.
Paste.
It's been a challenge.
Okay, so it's overlapping, but I mean, in the final thing, I'll probably use some automation and just duck all the music and the vocal and everything. But for all intents and purposes, this is the basic idea.
It's been a challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead for all of us.
Okay, so I wonder if I can pull something out in the middle.
It's been a challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face
Okay, let's tighten up that little space with together. Yeah, between.
we know that together we can face the new year with we can
So again, just tighten it up. So I'm not going to do the full edit because I want to show you some other stuff, but you get an idea of how I can manipulate it, right? Yeah, so.
At Digit, we know that together.
Okay, good. So what I'll do, I'll turn shuffle mode on so that I'll just pull everything a little bit tighter.
Shuffle mode on.
And delete.
Challenging year, but at Digit, we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward.
Okay, optimism. Let's take up that as we look forward.
The new year with optimism as we look.
Okay, tighten up the end. Okay, so I can now. If I wasn't stuck for time, if I wasn't tight for time, I would actually take this breath and like clip it down like this. Yeah, make it a little bit softer. But in this case, I'm going to delete it.
As we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead for all of us.
Okay, just for now, Sarah was kind of mid-sentence, right? But I have a feeling that for all of us is going to stretch over. So I'm just going to delete it for now. The sentence would sound incomplete, but I mean, she's my wife, right? So I could ask her to re-record it later. But just for all intents and purposes,
for all of,
I'm just going to go
for all of us.
So I'm just going to do that. Just get rid of that, and hopefully we're a little bit tighter here.
Challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead. Happy holiday.
Yeah, seems a little bit better there. We'll just put down the level a little bit and let's look at some mixing.
Challenging.
So.
Happy holidays. Challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with.
Yeah, so I was just using the S1 to drop the level and stuff. So I'm gonna switch into the mix window and let's do a little bit of processing on this voice.
Mix ticked. Now in mix, Digit Christmas.
Okay, I have to remember not to press save because I mean I'm gonna edit this later. But so okay, here we go.
Tracks.
Let's go to the voiceover.
Track list. 1 lead vocals. 2 Sarah VO. Audio.
Okay, Sarah VO, right? So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open up third-party plugin. I'll open up the SSL.
Plugin. SSL channel win.
SSL show, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm in the Waves SSL plugin now. Plugin I really love a lot.
FXTDM.
And let's treat this voice a little bit. So I'm accustomed working with Sarah's voice, so I kind of know what I want to do. So the first thing I'm just gonna put a high pass filter on it.
Dynamic on. Dynamency on. Out hertz.
Okay, I'm just gonna set this to like again. I'm using the keyboard now to set
47 hertz. 48.
I'm gonna do a high pass filter at about 115 hertz.
117 hertz. 115 hertz.
Yeah. And let me show you something really cool now with the S1. So I'm going to enable what they call plugin monitor on the S1. Sorry, in Pro Tools. Okay.
Watching plugin, SSL channel.
Okay, so it's telling me that it's watching the plugin now. So if I hit the...
Ed Gray has joined the meeting.
Okay, so if I hit EQ on the S1, the EQ button at the top, I can grab the, as I move the rotary encoders and stuff, it's going to actually read it to me what it's doing. I probably wouldn't do this doing a mix, right? Unless I needed to like find out something specifically like where I was, because I kind of prefer to use my ears for the music as opposed to voiceover. But I'm just showing you now that with this, I have the same access as a sighted person. So I'm going to hit play now, and I'm going to mess with the low mid frequency, and I think it's set to like 500 hertz now. But I know because of our room isn't perfect, our recording room, I get a little build up here. So I'm going to boost it first, and as I boost it, check this out.
4.2 dB, 9.4 dB, LMF gain.
So it says 9.4 dB LMF gain, right? So I know that I'm moving the mid frequency. So if I hear it, it's going to probably annoy all of us for a second, but that's okay.
We know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're in a box, right? So, but I was just doing that. So I can move the frequency as well for the band.
0.91 kilohertz, LMFFRQ.
So I'm at almost 1K.
We know that together.
Drop it back a little bit.
0.57 kilohertz,
we know
LMFFRQ.
that together.
So anywhere between 450 and 500 is where it gets a little.
0.56 kilohertz, LMF. 0.39 kilohertz, LMFFRQ. 0.40 kilohertz, LMFFRQ.
We know that together.
Yeah, that's where you kind of get the boxiness. So I'm just going to press down, which should set that back to 0.
0.0 dB.
And I'll just
LMF
drop
gain.
it by maybe like...
Minus 1.8 dB. Minus 2.1 dB.
yeah,
LMF
that's
gain.
pretty cool, minus 2. So I'm going to shut down the plugin monitor because I much prefer to listen to what's actually happening than voiceover talking. So I'm going to shut the plugin monitor down.
Deactivate plugin monitor.
Okay, so I'm going to just manually check now. I'm just going to put a little bit of compression on it.
115 Hertz. HPFRQ parameter. Out of parameter.
So I'm going to go here.
Minus 30.0 dB. Off. EXP attack parameter.
So
0.0 dB.
So let's do
In
this.
param. Minus 0.
I'm just setting up a compressor here.
Minus 5.4.
But I'm using the same waves actually as a channel strip. So,
Minus 5. Minus 7.5 dB.
yeah, like so. Let me
Minus
just compress
7.
it a little hard so you can see it.
Minus 9.3 dB. Minus 9.5 dB.
Yeah.
Out of
And I'll set the ratio
1.0.
to
Incorrect.
like, maybe like 4
1.0.
to 1 or something like that.
1.7. 1.8.
Okay, so
2.3. 2.3. 3.5.
okay, so it's gonna be very little compression, but basically, you know, it would probably do a little bit anyway. Just
Now
I'll have to probably rebalance the voice after.
We know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the
So yeah. So here we go. Okay, so let's do one more thing.
challenging year.
So I'm just gonna I have some effects on some sends and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to hit the auxiliary button here on the S1, and I'm gonna go to 2, 3. So I have the Abbey Road plate reverb here, and although the voiceover, I just normally put like a really little bit of reverb on the track itself to just take out some of the edge, you know, so it's a little bit warmer inside of the music, you know. So
It's been a challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can
I'll just turn it up a lot so you can hear what it's doing.
challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the
Yeah, so just a touch, you know, just to kind of just get it to sit in the mix a little bit nicer.
challenging year. But at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead. Happy holidays from Digit to you, Digit.
Okay, so that digit in the end, probably won't have a chance to do it now, but I plan to vocode it actually in the key of the song. So you get like digit, you kind of, you know, it's on our logo, on our company logo actually. So I'm probably gonna just vocode it at the end of the song. So let me show you something else. Let me show you a really nice, cool plugin here. Well, we all know this. This is auto-tune. So
1 lead vocals. 2, 3 lead 1. Audio track.
okay, so I'm just gonna go to Sarah's vocal track now. Well, her singing vocal actually. So, yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
Happy holidays.
Okay, so I just want to tighten this up a little bit.
Happy holidays.
So let's patch auto-tune on this track.
2 Sarah V. 3 lead 1. Audio track.
So here we go. So again, I'm doing everything via the keyboard, right? Because as a visually impaired person, I can't use a mouse. So I'm just executing a keyboard command here.
Menu 8 items
And
plugin.
it brings me up where I can actually select my plugin.
Plugin.
Let's go to pitch shift.
Dynamics. Sub. Pitch shift. Submenu.
Okay.
Pitch shift. Submenu 23 items. AIR free. Auto tune access. Mono.
So let's use auto-tune access.
Pro Tools busy.
Okay, so it's just loading every plugin now. So check how cool this is, right? What's the coincidence? What's the likelihood that the name of the
Plugin,
product will be
auto-tune.
called auto-tune access, right? And we're talking about access in audio, yeah? So great one, Antares. You know, whether you decided this ahead of time or not, it just works out great. So visually impaired people, you know, this auto-tune access is really accessible. And yeah, you can go out and get it and stuff like that. So I'm just happy to say that, you know, it works really beautifully in Pro Tools. So here we go. So
Set. Selected.
let me,
FXTDM.
okay, so let me
In FXT
configure it now, right? So I'm going to change the key.
Off. Humanized. Fast. Retune speed
Okay, I'm
parameter.
going to slow down the retune speed a little bit because Sarah's a pretty good singer, so don't really have to do too much. But just a couple little things just to tighten up a little bit.
Medium.
So I just change the
Out.
retune to medium.
Off. Humanized.
Let's change humanize
In
to
Pro. Min.
minimum.
Max. Min.
Yeah, let's go minimum for now.
Out of param.
Let's change the key.
C. Key parameter. In
Change the
param.
key to
dB. D.
And let's
Out
go
of major scale.
major.
Correct.
Yeah, that sounds good. So it should be cool.
Happy holidays.
Oh yeah, it's doing
Happy holidays.
yeah. Okay, so it's doing a beautiful job. I love what it's doing. So you know, I like to. I mean, if I'm using autotune as an effect, well, I'd go and do the fast retune speed and stuff like. But for now, you know, I just want a really nice, smooth vocal. So I'm gonna close the interface here.
Now in mix.
Yeah, let's put it inside the mix a little bit.
Happy holidays. It's been a challenge.
Yeah, so that works, right? So from the beginning of the jingle.
Happy holidays. It's been a challenging year, but at Digit we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the.
Yeah, I like actually. Hope you guys think it sounds pretty. I hope you guys comfortable with it, but
2 Seravi, 3 lead 1.
so one more thing.
1 lead vocals.
Let me open up. I'm on a track folder here. Let me select it on yes one. So I have a track folder as my thing, and this is where I have the harmonies on top, like this. Oh, sorry, wrong folder. Let me.
Tracks. Track list table. Row 1 of 85. Shown. Ed Gray has joined the meeting.
Okay, I forgot that I had a different track folder for background vocals.
Tracks. Track list table. No selection. In track. Shown. 2 Seravi, 3 lead, 4 lead, 5 lead 3, audio, 6 lead 4, 7 back vocals. Press.
Okay, so this is what I want here, right? So. Yeah, so. I'll just brighten this up a little bit. So back on the S1, again I have another. Okay, hold on. Let's go.
Plugin SSL channel window.
And that's really cool. You just hit the EQ button on the S1 and it opens right up into the plugin, which is fantastic actually. So let's. Okay, I'm just gonna brighten it up a little bit. I'm just gonna brighten up the 8K a little bit. Okay, let's see something.
FXTD Edit View plugin. In FXTD 0.0 dB. Comp ATTN parameter 0.6.7 15.0 dB. HF gain parameter 15.0 dB. Pick 0.0 dB. HF gain.
I'm switching on the right track.
Track. Settings menu. Auto. Lead vocals. Track selector. Lead vocals. Track select.
Oh shoot, sorry. My bad.
Menu 82 item. 2 Seravi 3 4 5, 6 lead 4.
Okay.
7 back vocals.
Okay, that's where I wanted to go.
Press 7 back vocals. Back vocal.
Okay, so here we go.
FXTD.
Let's go to the.
In
let's
FXTD
go to the
0. 0.0 dB. 8.0 0.0 dB.
so we got 8K there, and I'm just gonna boost it pretty hard.
0.
Let's boost this hard, make sure.
5.6 dB.
Yeah, maybe a little too much.
4.4 dB.
Okay, yeah.
Out.
For all intents and purposes, and just close this window. And you see, I'm dealing with windows and stuff just like a sighted person.
Now in mix.
You open them, you close them, you just so. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's just unsoldering all the tracks now, and okay, good. So,
Shown.
okay, so here we go.
Edit ticked. Now.
Back in the edit window
Unsoloed
one
all
more
track.
time, and I'm just gonna do this quickly.
Happy holidays. It's been a challenging year, but at the.
So yeah, so pretty much that's it. I'll show you one more thing. I'll show you, for example.
Mix ticked.
Let's look at a VI quickly.
9 double. Audio shown.
So I'm back in the mix window now.
Out of track list table.
Yeah. So
1 lead.
So I'm just gonna go to one of the VIs.
28 audio 28. 29. 35 guitar.
Yeah, don't do it.
43 S bass. In.
Okay. So,
49 L1. 52 acoustic drums. In track.
okay. So let me just open this up. So you can you see the VI here?
Busy.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, so I have
Plugin. Complete control window.
So I have Studio Drummer loaded up there now, and let me just bring it up. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually on my keyboard, my Native Instruments X61 MK2, and I'm going to.
Instance select. No instrument low. M1. Studio drum. Studio drummer. Session kit. Full.
Okay, so basically I'm using the knobs, the encoders on the complete control keyboard to drive the parameters of the plugin, right? So I have this drum kit here. If I play, we're probably going to get a little latency because of, let me just close this window for 1 sec.
Now in mix.
So
52 acoustic drums. Ins track.
Arm this track. So that,
Armed.
yeah, and I'm going to go open back up the plugin.
Plugin.
Yeah.
Complete.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have this kit loaded already. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so just to show you now, I can actually use the knobs on the keyboard. So I have all the microphone levels, etc. here. So
Volume 1. Kick. Snare.
so that's
Hi-hat.
Okay, so
Snare. Hi-hat. Tom 1.
see,
Tom
so I have
2.
everything there. The kick.
Kick.
So those are like the close mics. I can like maybe go to like 2.
Volume 2.
Yeah, and let's grab the
Volume 2.
let's drop
Woodwork.
let's drop the room mic a little bit.
Room.
Yeah, so I could do pretty much everything, you know, all the pans and all you know, my panning and everything and EQing of the kit, so I can do all that, right? So I'm just
Now in mix.
Let's just look at the digitally and the
You know
video quickly. This is the last thing.
Digit.
Okay, so
53 acoustic.
so you're not seeing the timeline now because I'm actually just moving in the mix window. So I guess you'll see it when I bring the plugin up.
40 DX piano.
So I
In
just wanted to kind of show you this. Where is it? Which track is it?
31 audio 30. 21 double 4. Audio 23 lapel mic. 22 quad 4. Audio
Yeah,
track.
digits is on this track. So
On.
Digit.
yeah. So let me patch.
Menu 8 items. Plugin. Dynamics. Pitch shift. Reverb. Delay. Submenu. Noise reduction. Harmonic. Harmonic. Plugin. Modulation.
I guess it's in the
Voce spin. Sci-fi. Roto. Real tape flanger. Ovox. Orange fade. Ovox. Mono / stereo.
Okay, so this is the waves.
Orange fade. Ovox.
This is the waves Ovox,
Closing
right?
menu.
And check this out. I never used this plugin before, right? This was a Black Friday deal, right? So I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna fire it up for the Avid webinar and give it a shot. You know, I saw some YouTube videos that I really liked it a lot, but I saw it go on sale for Black Friday, so I told Sarah, let's get Ovox. So here we go.
What is
Is that? Yeah, just here. Yeah. Got it?
Yep.
1 second.
Window.
Digit.
Pro Tools busy.
Okay, so yeah.
Reset.
Okay. So
Settings menu.
Let's load it.
Settings menu. Pop-up button. Finished.
So I'm just gonna load. Let me look for a vocoder.
Settings menu.
So here we go.
Finished.
Okay, so
Track preset quad. Ovox compares. No key input MIDI node. Ovox 44 full reset load save. Full low. Next track view on selected track. Full preview low. Next track view.
I'm gonna put
Menu 16. Reset wrap. Open tick. Full reset. Vocoding. Submenu.
vocode in. So
Voc around the world. Another dimension. Around the world. At the door. Away I go. Basic mono rich.
I'm just basically using a preset. I don't know what it's gonna sound like, but just to show you that, like,
Closing menu. Closing menu.
when this jingle is done, you know, probably just gonna vocode the digit at the end in the key of the song and everything, but it's kind of something like this. I don't know what it's gonna sound like. Okay, let me close the window.
Digit.
Yeah, but
Settings menu. Pop up now in mix.
okay, but that's the idea. It's gonna vocode, you know, your classic vocoder sound and stuff. So kind of, you know. So. Yeah.
Digit Christmas message window.
Okay, I don't like the preset, so I'm not even going to bother to play it. But I'll just configure it later on, and it's gonna be nice when it's done. So one more time from the beginning. I'll just do it here. Okay, so just going back into
Edit tilt now and edit.
Okay, and here we go. Okay, let me just censor all the tracks. Nicely. Okay, so.
Unsoloed all tracks.
Okay, so I'll just do something like that now. I'll just tweak on the board a little bit. Let's go and just mess with some levels.
It's been a challenging year, but at Digit, we know that together we can face the new year with optimism as we look forward to the fresh possibilities that lie ahead.
Happy holidays from Digit to you. Digit.
Yeah, but that vocoder thing would be nice and tight when it's done and in the key of the song and everything. So yeah, so that's a bit of how I work in Pro Tools. That's a bit of my workflow. So
absolutely incredible, Jason. Thank you so much, and thank you to Sarah. Beautiful voice.
Welcome.
We wow. I mean, we are also incredibly inspired. It's been funny watching all the messages come through. Normally, there are some questions coming through, but most of what's coming through right now, Jason, I think it's important that is just a lot of admiration for the work that you're doing, not just here. I mean, certainly here, the way you work is very inspiring to all of us.
That's great.
But also, the work that you're doing, just for everyone else who needs access to these tools. I mean, yourself and Ed, and we've got some questions that we want to ask. But first, again, we want to give you our deepest gratitude and thanks for being here and showing off for us for a little bit.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
Yeah, no, this is a true honor. I do believe Ed wanted to talk a little bit about Avid's work around accessibility for a couple minutes, and then we can get right to questions. So, Jason, if you don't mind just hanging out for a little bit,
sure. I'm here, man.
Questions for you, Ed, Mr. Gray.
Hi. Oh, I just want to say a couple of things. I just
Zoom.us.
wanted to say I
Currently muted.
hope you guys experienced what I just did, which was just a cool, creative, wonderful person messing around and experimenting and making music with Pro Tools. And there are no tricks here. Jason is a blind user. He had negligible assistance from Sarah, who was in the background, and he was doing all this stuff independently. And that's the big milestone, is that we're able to invite blind users to the music creation party on Pro Tools, and they can get going right away using VoiceOver on the Mac. So I should say that Pro Tools accessibility right now is mainly offered on Mac OS, where you have VoiceOver. It's a utility you turn on. You don't have to do anything else. It just works, and then it speaks all the gestures and buttons and knobs. And so what do we have to do to improve accessible support in Pro Tools? Plenty. I mean, this is an ongoing effort. We have a whole backlog of bugs and features we want to prioritize with Jason and our team of beta testers. And then meanwhile, we've also released Sibelius with accessibility for both Mac and Windows. So you should check that out. And behind this, there's a whole effort to make the documentation accessible, make the website and web store accessible. And it's a lot of work, but Avid is dedicated to this as part of our diversity and inclusion, and just making sure that everyone can use Pro Tools the same way. Now, if you have any questions about accessibility, anything at all, just write to an email, wait for it, accessibility@avid.com. And we will get back to you. And all those emails are copied to me. If you have ideas of features, or you want to be introduced to Jason, or get a little help, write to accessibility@avid.com. But other than that, we're continuing to fight the good fight. And then with the help of people like Jason, we're getting other companies to play along. And it's a collective collectively great effort where it's not like we win and these guys lose over here. Everyone is working and exchanging ideas to drive accessibility into our products. And it's because of Jason and a few people like him that this is really gaining momentum. So again, thank you so much, Jason, for presenting.
Sure,
now let's take some of your questions.
And thanks to you, Ed, because you were obviously a great driving force here internally at Avid, and we're very grateful and thankful to you as well.
Actually, my Facebook profile says today, thanks to my friend Ed, my friend and mentor Ed Gray. So Ed, it goes both ways, and I think everybody on my Facebook profile has seen this. Now, you are amazing. I don't have time to sit down and talk about what you do, but it's just mind-blowing, and you're just leading the way for all of us. You make it possible for so many people to have fulfilling careers. You and the team, Dave Tyler, pretty quiet guy, but the quiet people do the most, right? as I know, Dave Tyler here in the UK, has been my support, my go-to. I don't know, he probably freaks out every time he gets a mail from me because I'm asking about something. Dave, what we doing? What we doing? Are we doing this workshop? Whatever. So I'm surprised he still answers my emails. But Dave, thank you so much for everything that you do here. I met some amazing people. Gaurav, Claire, Greg and Gil, who I just met Greg today. So guys, everybody at Avid, you're leading the way and you're making so many things possible that people can have fulfilling careers, visually impaired people. And the thanks goes out from me and the visually impaired community as well. So,
thank you, Jason.
We're very fortunate to have you.
We can't do it without you, Jason. So I think we'll jump right into some questions. So we've got a couple coming. We've got a bunch coming in. Again, I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. So we've got one here in the Zoom. Did you make a personal some JWS JAWS fine tuning macros, etc. for Pro Tools, or are these expansions available publicly?
That's for me. Okay. No. I use an overlay that some people in the States have made. It's called Flow Tools actually, and it's an overlay that runs on the Keyboard Maestro platform, and it allows you quick access to things like, for example, if I wanted to turn record on, I'll just press for a track, I'll just double tap R. If I tap it once, it would tell me whether it's record enabled or not. Same thing for solo and muted. But it's available as a free download, but pretty much without Flow Tools, Pro Tools is pretty much accessible. So I can do the same thing. So I can interact with a track and go and change the volume and stuff. But yes, there is that overlay. I have made an overlay for the S1. I've created one with Sarah for the S1 where we can do things like assign all the user buttons and basically do your own custom mapping and stuff. But yeah.
I'll say the reason Flow Tools is cool. I'm sorry to interrupt. Flow Tools kind of speaks broadly what's on the screen. It says that these tracks are muted, these tracks are soloed. There's a plugin over here, and it allows a blind user to get a broad picture of what's going on the screen without having to tab around too much. Because in general, with VoiceOver, you use the tab key or some other control keys to navigate. So Flow Tools is a free piece of shareware, and flowtools.org, FLOTOOLS.
And yeah, just to basically wrap up the question, it's all accessible to everyone who uses a Mac. It's not JAWS for Windows. It's a VoiceOver that ships with all Macs. So once you have your Mac and your Pro Tools, you're good to go out of the box, pretty much. These are enhancements, Flow Tools and my S1 overlay. These are enhancements that just makes browsing a little bit easier, a little smoother.
Awesome. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Jason. So I think, Jason, you actually just answered the next question. So John Acosta wanted to know the name of the screen reader that you're using. Is it Opportune? But I think you just said it. You're using the VoiceOver feature in the Mac.
Yeah,
right?
It's called VoiceOver.
It's built in, right?
Yeah, it's called VoiceOver.
And then we have a question here from Elad Davidovich. Hi, my name is Elad. I'm a blind sound engineer working for the Central Library for the Blind in Israel for more than 7 years and working with Pro Tools. And he'd like to know how he can become, or how they can become a Pro Tools accessibility beta tester. So Ed, I think that one is more for you.
You can just write to me and we'll have a conversation. Just write to accessibility avid.com, or my email is ed.gray, Gray, @avid.com.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Thank you for volunteering, and shalom.
So we've got time for a couple more. Jason, you're working for music for picture on music for picture. Is this something that you can do entirely in Pro Tools, independently? What are some of the special challenges that you've got there?
Okay, so yes, you can do it independently. Couple things need to be done, which should probably be done anyway for sighted users. So, for example, a good storyboard, a very detailed storyboard. Okay, we're doing an action movie. Somebody jumps out of a window. All right, so it's fine that they jump out of a window, but I want to know things like, okay, they jump out of the window at 15 minutes, 10 seconds, 5 frames. Okay, so basically it's based on an accurate timeline, accurate sync with everything. So if you know that this is where it happens, so the music is the easy part, meaning that you score the scene, you compose the score to score the scene with sufficient action music. That's fine, but in terms of like the placing sound effects and stuff like that, once you have an accurate time board, an accurate timeline, and you know where things are, you can't get it wrong because you're using that time. So time is constant, is 15 seconds will always be 15 seconds kind of thing. So that's the premise on how I score to film. So that's how I do it for like the advertising agencies and any films that I post score and stuff like that. But yeah, you're pretty accurate with it once your timeline, and of course a good PDF of the story, so you can read it ahead of time using voiceover as well, so you know what the story is like. So very similar to what a sighted person would do. But yes, you can score. And what's nice with Pro Tools is the markers. So sometimes, ahead of time, maybe Sarah and I, if we're doing a commercial or something, we would actually set markers, with descriptions of, okay, if it's a car commercial, car drives up, woman gets out of car. It's kind of thing, like how audio description works. We set up markers, and basically, I go. Once Sarah's no longer here, and once Sarah's left, off I go using these markers to basically build the sound effects and laying all the Foley and dialogue. Editing dialogue will be similar to what I just showed you, like with editing the voiceover. It's the same, basically. It's pretty similar, but it's perfectly doable as a blind person in Pro Tools.
That's incredible.
Yeah, you raise a good point, Jason. We don't want to have a special blind version of Pro Tools. We want Pro Tools to work so that blind people, other people with motor and cognitive challenges, can walk up to the same product and use it in essentially the same way. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know we're cognizant of time. We've just got a couple minutes left. So really quickly, I just wanted to ask 2 more quick ones, and then we'll do a very quick wrap up. So Jason, we had a viewer here that asked one quick question. You said that you use the letter R to record. How do you know where the letter R is? And I'm assuming that is you're asking about that on the keyboard, probably.
Okay. It's okay. How a sight person would touch type, basically. I know a lot of people don't look at the keyboard and they touch type. The only answer to that is you just know. I mean, when I learn to type. I mean, I learned to type in high school and stuff to be able to do all my exams, etc. And I just learn the keyboard. Where everything, I just learn where it is. I know on my left hand is ASDF and the right is the semicolon LKG. So you just know it by feel, and then it becomes second nature. It's like breathing. It's basically
it's muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory.
Yeah, I'm just showing a little show and tell. This is my keyboard. The on all keyboards, the F and J keyboards have little raised bumps. They're barely perceptible, and then I have little stickies on important keys like the 0, 1, and F and J, and I can find my way around.
Very cool.
And just to enlighten further accessibility, a lot more than the keyboard is accessible now. So you can use like touch screens on iPhones and iPads and stuff like that. They have certain gestures. So the whole world of accessibility is just opening up now. Actually. Yeah.
Sure. Well, again, Jason, thank you so very much for joining us. We're going to wrap up here right now, but really quickly. If anyone wants to find more information about you and your work and your music, where can we find you online, Jason?
Okay, it's okay. My website is Jason Dasent. That's JASONDASENT in studio at .com.
So .com, easy enough.
Yeah,
Again,
Jason Dasent in studio.com.
instudio.com. All right, very, very easy. We will make sure we're going to have you back, because now we're going to want to see more of your music creation workflow. That finger drumming was incredible, so we want to get more of that. Jason, thank you so very much. Everyone, wherever in the world you are, thank you so very much for joining us. Ed Gray, thank you to everyone. Again, wherever you might be, continue to stay safe. Happy holidays. We will be back with another plugin webinar session very soon. Keep it locked here. And again, Jason, thank you so very much. Everyone,
Thanks, Greg.
take care. Be
Thanks,
good.
Jason. Thanks, Greg.
Take care.